Good morning and welcome to Today at the Races at Laurel Park on this special Monday holiday edition of races. 9 races on the card this afternoon. Callie, we're on the heels of a big 4-day weekend, joined by Callie Francois. Heels of a big 4-day weekend. What a weekend we had. Saturday was amazing.
Saturday was just a wonderful day of racing. You know, you were out there checking out the crowds on our winter Sprint Fest Stakes day. We had a wonderful run. Noticeably, I love watching Luna Bell and Cordmaker go. Just an overall exciting day that we had Saturday, Tim.
Saturday, nice card yesterday. But those were the highlights for me on Saturday. Luna Bell and, of course, Cordmaker getting his first graded stakes win this past Saturday. But we've got a lot of action coming up. But looking a little bit farther forward, and it's not that far away. Preakness Stakes comes up very, very soon. May 21st this year, the third Saturday in May, and it will be here quicker than you think. Get your tickets now. It's always a big day. Black-Eyed Sousa Day has become just as much fun, if not more fun than Preakness
Yes,
Stakes.
because there's no pressure for the big races. Everybody is there for the party, and then everybody's there Friday night to get ready to just even further celebrate big Preakness Day. But yes, I would have to agree with you that Black-Eyed Susan is probably a bit of the more fun day.
Looking forward to a big Preakness meet here this spring up there at Old Hilltop. Well, the day changed a little bit. We had a pretty cold weather the last 2 days. A lot better this afternoon, this morning. Not much wind at all. Temperature about 45 degrees. It's going to be fair skies all day long. It's going to be perfect racing weather.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely beautiful, Tim. It was just beautiful out, and the track is just looking fantastic as ever this morning. I think we're going to have a great day of afternoon racing here on President's Day here at Laurel.
And not to put any pressure on the turf guys, but the weather's staying good, so we're going to be expecting a little turf here not too far in the future. So let's see that thing start to green up a little bit more. Let's get started, Callie. Race 1 starts off the early pick 5. As always, 12% industry low takeout, 50-cent minimum. I put together an early pick 5 ticket this afternoon. It's always very well played. They bet $55,000 into the early pick 5 on Saturday, another 36, I think, yesterday. But I go 3 deep here in race 1. I use the 2, the 4, and the 7. You'll soon find out the 2 is both Callie and my top pick in the opener. Race 2, I spread in this race 1, 3, 4, and 6 in race 2. My single comes in race 3. I'm going to single on the Ford Christitude for the red hot Jamie Ness. Race 4, I use the 4 and the 5. And in race 5, I use the 1, 4, and the 6. My top pick in there is a 6. Magic Mule, 6-1 on the line, my price play of the day. $36 ticket in the early pick 5. Good luck if you play along. Race 1 is for 3-year-old fillies, claiming price $25,000, going 3/4 of a mile. And our top pick, Callie, is the 2 Sea Pines for Claudio Gonzalez. Kevin Gomez gets the call once again. We're going to take a quick look at her last race. This was on the 28th of January in a little bit of a snow. We're going to pick it up at the 3/8 pole, where you see she's starting to make a little bit of a run. And she continues her run. She passes horses. She just happened to run into a very, very good Mama G's Wish.
Yeah, Mama G's Wish went going on to have a nice win later on. You know, with Sea Pines is one of those fillies that just does need to be asked and needs to be ridden to really get some response out. I know right at the 3/8 pole, Kevin really started asking her, but as you can see, there's no beating Mama G's Wish that day. No beating her later on either. So for Sea Pines Sea Pines had a lot of work to do. Broke sharp, but then kind of settled fairly far back away from Mama G's Wish, and yeah, despite that made up a lot of room.
Well, the good news for Sea Pines is there's no Mama G's Wish in this race today, and she's finished twice behind Mama G, 2 of her last 3 races. She tried long 2 starts ago. That didn't work. She's back going short. 3 of her last 4 races have been good efforts. The 4 is 6 o'clock Sarah. This is first off of the claim and a layoff of 4 Jamie Ness, winner of 2 in a row. And of course, we know Jamie's very good first off the claim and this type of layoff.
Yes, I mean, the stats go, as of late, the stats are 42% Jamie Ness first after the claim. So just the stat, the stats are absolutely in the favor. You know, we have a horse that's going to be the speed of the race today, and I think that's just going to, there's going to be no question that that's going to be the style that she goes. That's the way she's always been. Just because she's in the Jamie Ness's barn doesn't mean she's going to change her style. But with her speed, especially if she just runs the speed exactly like she did last time, absolutely ready to clock it here.
Gets Jamie Rodriguez this afternoon, and we know how good Rodriguez and Ness are. Callie and myself very similar in the opener. Race 2 kicks off the early pick 4. Keith Fusel's off today, so we don't have an early pick 4 ticket for you. But sometimes he has a late entry. He'll send one in, but we'll keep an eye out for it. This is for 3-year-olds going a flat mile, claiming price $16,000. We're going to start with your top pick, Callie. That is the 3 nostalgic run for Rob Atras. Charlie Marquez gets the call. This is his first time with Atras. He wins about 24%. Look, this horse, 2 starts ago, while going a mile up at Penn National, ran a huge race and a big, gaudy number.
Big, gaudy number indeed. That was, and it was just a visually impressive one as well. Just kind of took to the lead and went on with it. Now, my viewpoint is that there is a little bit of a chance that that horse bounced. You know, he's run okay at Parks before. Has just been taking, you know, I think it was maybe a bit of the moisture in the ground, a little bit. I think that's the biggest thing, that was the biggest takeaway, why horse kind of bounced on January 18th. But some, you know, some nice maintenance works coming in, especially, you know, on that February 9th work at the Belmont Training Track.
Yeah, I'd blame it on the ground at Parks that day. It was rated good. He'd run well on fast tracks before, so certainly a horse to use. And on my ticket, I have the 6 on top. This is Gunhand for Anthony Ferrier. He was a winner 2 back with a life best. He ran into a runaway winner. And when I'm talking runaway winner in his last start, Hartness won by 21. But that 2-back race, pretty good. Good figure. If he runs back to that, he's got a shot.
Yeah, this horse for Anthony Ferrier, ever since he's had him in the barn, I know the horse has been a lot of work to get to this point, so kudos to the barn for getting him at this point in general. But just really, as you mentioned, Tim, 2 back over the 2 turns here at Laurel, just got super, super competitive, super confident, and made a nice run. And again, it couldn't go against the winner last time out, but this time, if he runs back to that number on January 23rd, absolutely has a place here.
Race 2 kicks off the early pick 4 as we move to race number 3. This is a claiming event, $5,000 for horses that haven't won a race in 6 months, or just 6 months. No, this is a wide open nickel. My mistake. Take out the 1, Rockefeller's. Take out what would have been the short price favorite, the 6, Oxide, and what we're left with is your top pick, the 4, Christitude. You have on top for Jamie Ness. Second off the claim for Ness, a better result in his most recent. We know that these horses get a little better. 2 back, he ran into a couple good horses in Swing West and Hard Fought.
Yeah, that was a lot going on there in that race for him. So I'm just, you know, the horses in the Ness barn, it's the second start for the Ness barn, which, you know, as the more they get into Jamie Ness's barn, the better they seem to improve. So, you know, this is a horse that's, you know, at the claiming 5 level. Sometimes these horses do need a little bit of time to really get things together in a barn like Jamie Ness. So for that, you know, and this horse tends to be okay with the off-going. You know, every time he 4 wins on a wet dirt, so he runs well. He gets a fast track today, so that's really the biggest indicator. And the last time we saw him at a fast track, last time he won was on a fast track. Granted, that was at the allowance level, back when he was in the Ness barn. So he's been in the Ness barn before. They're just kind of getting this horse back into the swing of things.
And ran a big number, going 6.5 furlongs here at Laurel the day Jamie lost him, and you're right, he's back in the Ness barn. I actually transposed my numbers there. I do have the 4 on top as my single in my early pick 5. But let's talk about the 5 Championship Alley. Look,
yes.
This one wasn't very good in his last start over the mud, but previously he's been very good. The question for me in Championship Alley is the 7/8 of a mile, where he just doesn't seem like he can stay.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the last time we saw him at a 7/8 of a mile, I think Louis Garcia just wrapped up on him, saved him for another day, and that resulted in a win the next time out. But, you know, and that was on a fast track. So the last time prior, again, it wasn't. That was back in March of about this time last year, March of last year, and again, it wasn't a great result. So, but the thing about this horse, I think, is really just the placement in his field. If JD Acosta can get this horse up there a little bit and actually put into the race, then I think Championship Alley shows a little bit of what he's made of. But I do agree with you, Tim. The 7 furlongs is a little bit of a question for Championship Alley today.
Well, he gets JD back today. JD won on him 2 starts ago and probably learned a little bit about him, but certainly capable better than his last. He's getting back onto a fast racetrack this afternoon. He hooked the mud in his last start. Race 4 kicks off of the Rainbow Pick 6. This is a starter, 4-year-olds and up, 25,000, going mile 16th. We have a little bit of a carryover in the Rainbow Pick 6, $9,660. Get started here in race 4. And Callie, you did us a ticket. How'd you play it?
Did a little Rainbow Pick 6 ticket. I start off with the 5, the 7, and the 9. Both of our top selection in that race. The 7 reassured for you and I, Tim. The race number 5. Notice I don't have a single. I don't have a single for today, but in race number 5, I go with the 1, the 8, and the 9 in that allowance. 5.5 on the dirt. I think there's going to be a nice little competition between going to the lead and a couple of these other Bear Force 1. Hard to be humble. Race number 6, I go in with a double with the 3 and the 6 in that allowance optional, acclaiming going a flat mile on the dirt with that Linda Rice ship in. Race number 7, I go in on a double again with the 2 and the 6 for that allowance optional, going 6 on the dirt. Coastal Mission and Al Loves Josie. We're going to get a little bit of a video on him later on. And in race 8, feature race of the day, allowance optional, 6 furlongs on the dirt. I go with the 3, 4, the 5. I think that's going to be quite an interesting. I go with Karan's Notion underneath for a little bit of a price. And in our nightcap, I double down with the 2 and the 6, El Bochinche and Birthday Wish for our claiming for 5.5 on the dirt. A bit of a cheap ticket, so feel free to add wherever. There are certainly a couple of races you can add a little bit more play in, but my total ticket for today is $43.20.
As I mentioned, race 4 is a starter 25. Horses haven't won 2 races or claiming price 25,000. Take out the 2 Bacon Echo. The 2 Bacon Echo is out. That was my top pick, and so it makes me and you land on the 7 Reassured for Brittany Russell. This one's dropping to a favorable level this afternoon. Figs against Tougher are there in her last few starts, but this was a horse. He broke his maiden for the maiden 40. He's in for the 2 lifetime 25. Yeah. This is the right spot.
I feel like, since he won in such a nice fashion when he did break his maiden, coming off, swinging off the pace and just bossing it down the lane, winning it by a little bit over 8 lengths. They had they had high hopes for him clearly, but I agree with you, Tim. I think he's in the right spot. My only concern is when you do run horses when they're going in these, tight, tough, competitive races against these nice horses, does it get him discouraged a little bit? Hopefully not, and clearly I hope not, and you hope not as well.
Well, it's certainly the right spot for the 7 Reassured. Gets Javion Toledo. The 5 Lamaki Force. This horse is extremely interesting. Going to get a fast dirt course for the first time, dirt course of any kind this afternoon in his career. He's by Pioneer of the Nile, out of an AP Indy mare. There's no reason this horse might not even get better than his synthetic races, and his synthetic races have been pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Last 2 starts, a third and a win, good solid figures, and has been working well for Nixon here at Laurel Park.
Noticing the work tab once he's gotten here for Nixon on the dirt. I mean, you see near bullet works nearly every time this horse, especially in the last 3 starts from January 28th to just now last week, February 12th. Some really nice works. I love how he they're all 5 furlong works, those last ones, putting a really nice solid bottom on this horse, so he hasn't really lost any of that good condition that he's had over the synthetic up at Woodbine.
Callie and I pretty close to kick off the Rainbow Pick 6 in race 4. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll talk about the late pick 5. Well, we already talked about the Preakness coming up very soon. Little video there and during commercial, and wow, the excitement really, really starts to build once Derby comes along, and then that 2 weeks in between them and Preakness.
It's all about us.
It is all about us. Don't ever forget it. Don't, we typically have something that Derby doesn't ever have, the Derby winner. So here we go. That was Chick Lang. Here we go. Race 5. This kicks off the late pick 5. First level allowance condition for 4-year-olds and up, going 5.5 furlongs. We're going to start with your top pick in here, Callie. That is the 8, Bear Force 1. Why not? Winner 2 of his last 3, just missed at this level in his last start, getting beat a neck to Semper Fi.
Yeah, I think, again, as a couple of these, we had a couple of these yesterday, just horses running these really nice winning type of runs and really just missing it out, just getting nailed on the wire by a horse that usually comes up from behind. So I think, we get to see that performance again with Bear Force 1. It's very, very simple. A nice work, just a nice maintenance work, 5 furlongs. I like the 5 furlong maintenance work coming into that. Hasn't lost any touch of tone there.
Oh, winner of 2 of his last 3 gets Angel Cruz back aboard, who won 2 in a row on him in April and then had a little bit of a break till this past month in January, but came back with a big win. I have the 6 Magic Mule on top. This is my price play of the day. This horse is one of my favorite horses. A big win in his most recent race at that 3 lifetime $25,000 optional starter with a life best 78. That's close here. That's good enough to get it done here if he can come back. But this is a horse, he always shows up. I mean, you simply can't find a bad race on his form. If you go back, yes, when he ran 4th, he had a bad trip, shuffled back. But this is a horse that always shows up, and I love the fact that Georgie Ruiz is back on top.
I can't believe I overlooked this horse, Tim, because in the last 7 out of 10 starts, he's 1, 2, 3. So you can't, especially at that last performance out, this horse is always, no matter where he's placed, he's always going to give a good run for wherever he can get it. And I think, this is a good price play. I can't believe I missed out on this horse, but yeah, absolutely 6 to 1 for Magic Mule at this race. Absolutely, Tim.
He's going to have to come back and run a really good race because he still has to deal with Bear Force 1 and the 1 going to the lead. Now, going to the lead, maybe the one to beat at the end of the day, coming off a big win in a state-bred allowance race in his last start. Just got beat in the wide-open allowance race 2 back. That was over the mud. But this is a horse that's in really good form right now.
Yeah, going to the lead, had the blinkers on last time out, dogged it and battled it out very, very nicely last time out. So which is why, as we can see, prior to this, what we're seeing on the screen, he was dogged the entire time around, and now we get to see this horse is battling him right now. This was the horse that came from behind, and just as going to the lead was getting a little bit of air, this guy didn't want to give it to him, but you can see going to the lead just digging in absolutely beautifully. I think we're going to get to see that again today, Tim.
That was a big race. That was his lifetime best. He ran an 80 by our speed figure. That particular afternoon gets Caramanos once again for Damon Dilladovico. Race 6 is a 2 other than, going a 1 mile for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up. And your top pick in here is the 3 Hybrid Eclipse, same as mine. Comes down from New York for Linda Rice. Caramanos gets the call, returning off of a little short break, but a lifetime best in his last race, in her last race, where she ran behind 2 next out winners.
Yeah, and I mean, it's fair enough to have this filly be going for listed stakes, at the graded stakes at the graded 3 level, which is fair enough, but you drop this filly back down to this type of condition. She is very, very, very tough in this race. I think she's going to be on the lead or near. I think she's going to be tracking. Personally, I think she's going to be tracking the lead. But the way that sets it up in this race, and again, as you mentioned, behind 2 winners next time out in that last start up at Aqueduct, and that was we're at the same distance. I think she's going to love the Laurel 1-turn mile here. She's won here before. She's ran twice here and with the 1st and 2nd, so she likes Laurel, and I think this filly is just going to relish She's coming back for a visit.
And she ran very well 3 back here at Laurel. She got beat by a pretty nice Mistress Model, a Claudia Gonzalez horse. So she does like it here at Laurel. I agree, and she is simply the one to beat. But maybe one of the ones that can beat her is the 5 Sweet Home Dixie for Hammy Smith. This one ran a big race on February 12th. We're going to take a look at her race and her win. We're going to pick this up at the top of the stretch, and this is Sweet Home Dixie under Dennis Roro.
I tell you what, this filly, the entire trip going around, she was surrounded by horses. Then she finally gets into some clear air, and she just really gives it and guns it. She gets in and just is super game. Doesn't matter what's happening. I think she had a lot to be dealing with prior to what we saw on the screen. She broke. She was behind. She was tucked in horses, and she just gets super, super game. And we're going to get, this is the type of filly that needs to be game to go against that Linda Rice ship-in.
And Dennis Aurora, he's a kind of rider, whether he does or not, or maybe it's just me. And we saw it on Luna Bell on Saturday. I think he understands the value of clean air because when he gets a horse out there, he'll save as much ground as he can around the turn, kicks him out in the clean air at the top of the stretch. It's the same distance from the top of the stretch to the wire if you're on the rail or you're six in the 6 path. It's the same distance. He does that very well. Race 7, another first level allowance race going 3/4 of a mile. This one's for 3-year-olds, straight 3-year-olds. Take out a couple horses, take out the 3, a lot of hope. And the 4 Hefner who ran in the stake on a Saturday. And that leaves us both on the 2 Coastal Mission. Look, this is a consistent runner who ran into a very, very good Whitty in his last start. Ran behind Joe 2 starts ago. He just shows up every single time.
Shows up every single time.
Look at his race from December 18th.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
No,
Take a look at that right now. This is the Maryland Juvenile Championship where he ends up running behind Joe and a lot of hope. But this was a good effort.
Good effort because he had to there were a lot of horses he had to pass, especially here right now, trying to chase Joe, who I believe is potentially on the Tessio and Preakness path. But yes, Coastal Mission just having to chase horse by horse by horse, and he has no problem ticking off the horse every single time. And that was, at the 7, was entered for the Miracle Wood for the flat turn mile here at Laurel. I like the decision to come back here for the 6 furlongs. I think that's where Coastal Mission excels, and I think that's where Jeff Runco excels at as well, especially in that Maryland Million Nursery. I really think that's this distance is really the biggest thing for Coastal Mission today.
Well, he's been running some big races. He's consistent. He shows up every single time, and I would expect him to show up today for Jeff Runco and Arnaldo Boca Chica. To the outside is the 6 Al Loves Josie for the red hot, white hot, pick a color. It doesn't matter. John Robb, Xavier Perez gets the call. Coming off a big win in an Open 40 event, 3-year-old Open 40 event. 77 Beyer speed figure, won by 8.5 lengths for fun. If he comes back and runs anything close to that, the rest of them are running for second.
Exactly. Yes. I think, especially with that, a little bit of that outside post has a bit of that advantage on Coastal Mission. Absolutely just been able. Prior to that win at the Claiming 40, they did work the horse out of the gate, and I think that's what the horse needed. Kind of getting back into the swing of things. John Robb, 27%, winning 2 out, 41% at this meet right now. Just watch out.
Yeah, he gets a good draw today because both the races he has won, he's been on the lead, clear lead in his last. I like him outside here because there is other speed in this race. Kobe Tough, Sunday Mischief was very fast in his last start. Xavier Perez will be able to look in and maybe keep him in the clear. Sometimes it's not the lead a horse needs, it just needs to be in the clear, and depending on how fast they go toward the inside. But Xavier will be able to look down there and make a decision. Race 8 is a second level allowance race for 4-year-olds and up, going 3/4 of a mile. And Gally, you have the 3 Semper Fi on top. Semper Fi is coming out of a life best first level allowance win in his last start. Now he was coming off a little bit of a layoff. That was on January 16th. Mary Epler comes back. She works him on February 12th. I like that move. Any kind of bounce that might have happened off that big effort, it's probably faded away.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So I like the conscientiousness of just kind of taking that time because prior to that horse ran a little bit off a layoff you go late October to middle of January. Now we're back at the end of February. I think that's exactly the right move for this horse, as you said, Tim, to keep this horse still peaking and able to return the lifetime best performance that he showed back on that allowance.
Well, this has been a different horse since they started sprinting him, got him off the turf, turned him back, got him on the main track. He hasn't run a bad race going back to last August when they put him back on the main track and shortened him up. He's been very, very good. He's a winner of 2 in a row going into this afternoon's race. I have the 4 Alpha Cairo on top for Rudy Sanchez Solomon. Angel Cruz gets the call. Went to New York, had a troubled trip up there in a New York bred stake. But this is a horse that won 2 back here at Laurel. He's already won at this level, and he's another one who's been in fantastic form going back a year. Yes. I mean, going back a year, he simply hasn't run a bad race till his last start, and you can make 1,000 excuses for that race in Aqueduct.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. Just horrifyingly unlucky back at Aqueduct. But you mentioned that this horse has been in good form ever since. But ever since also that the horse has gotten into Rudy's Sanchez Solomon's barn, that I really like that performance. But even before that, without any type of trouble, back at that Namors 2 for 35, where it just had was once he got the trip he needed, just showed exactly what he was and was able to clear on. So easily understandable as a 7-5 favorite.
Yeah, coming back, the 2 back ran a lifetime best 88 that particular afternoon. I want to talk about the 5 Curran's Notion real quick. This one might be trying to go back in the right direction. Last 3 races have been okay. They haven't been great, but they've been okay. It's had a sharp work since that last race. I just feel like, and I've felt like this for a long time, and maybe they will, maybe they won't. I mean, there's plenty of speed. I would just like to see him at least try to take this horse back. And I mean not take him back 2-3 lengths. I mean jack him back and see if he'll come with some sort of run. As the races get tougher, the horses get faster, it's hard to tangle with these horses.
It's hard. I agree with you, Tim. If you go back, back to a near lifetime in the Not for Love, going the 6 furlongs, it doesn't jack him back, which I agree with you. I think that sometimes that what needs to be done.
There's
exactly.
The race right
there's the race right there. That's exactly what the style that he needs to go. Stop pressuring him. He knows what he likes. So if you know what you like, you stick with it. And I agree with wholeheartedly. I think the horse is on the upswing, especially if that's done.
Yeah, that race in the Not for Love, I mean, he got outrun early. He was outrun 5 lengths early. He ends up running second. He gets beat 2.5 lengths. That was his best, most recent finish, except for that one 2 out of the end in October again. But even in that race, he was in behind horses and came with a little bit of run. So I would really, from the outside, I would really like to see them do that today. The horse has got talent.
Yes.
Just need to maybe regroup with him a little bit. Let's move on to race number 9. This is a 2 lifetime nickel race going 5.5 furlongs. Callie, both you and I have the 6 on top. This is El Bochinche for Jerry Robb, Xavier Perez. A big number in his maiden score in that last race, one off by 8.5 lengths. Comes back in the 2 lifetime for a nickel. That was a maiden 10. You can't spot him any better than this.
Exactly,
it's impossible.
Which is why she is the even money favorite in this race. I mean, if I was playing around to see if I could put Birthday Wish on top, but you can't deny where the performance last time out, where John Robb's putting him, and then you just can't go against a John Robb horse going short at all today. So yes, El Bochinche on the outside post. Gets to do whatever, Xavier Perez gets to do whatever she wants with her. A nice work 49 flat coming into it. Everything screams green for go.
If you wonder why these guys win a lot of races, one of these reasons is they spot their horse as well as Claudio Gonzalez is doing with Birthday Wish, who also just broke her maiden for the 10,000 in for the 2 for 5,000. Certainly didn't run the figure that El Bochinche ran in that last race, but figures here this afternoon. That is going to do it for our 9-race card here on President's Day, a special Monday card. I hope you all come out and join us. If you're just catching us now, come out, have a couple, watch the races, and have some fun. It's going to be a beautiful day out here, Callie, so we hope everyone joins us.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be a good day of racing. Hopefully a crowd like we saw Saturday. I think you predicted that Saturday for us. So yeah, come out, come join us. Have a great time here at Laurel Park. The weather is absolutely beautiful, and the racing is going to be even better today.
Dave Rodman up next with scratches and changes. Good luck.